Hey everyone, this is Villains Man. I'm JBD, bringing another comic book review over Avengers. Issues 9 through 11, Volume 6, A Secret Wars tie-in. Yeah, it's the theme right now, as I'm reading all the Secret Wars stuff. Um, each one of these, all three issues, or its own standalone story. The first two do kind of take place within the Secret Wars story, which they don't affect the story either way. The last part is an aftermath story. Um, the first one you could probably do without reading. It's where Lady Thor or Jane Foster goes to once she is dimensioned away in the Battle of Washington, D.C. by Captain America. The second one furthers some plot with Doc Ock being the new Superior Spider-Man. And the third one has some very interesting conversation as this Avengers team gets back together. So you can read these all individually, or you can skip every one of them before this goes back into legacy numbering. It's really not going to hurt anything. Even though these last two stories, the second one, which is issue 10, I found interesting just by how it ended, and the third one's got some interesting conversation and brings up something that makes a lot of sense that you would expect to have seen sooner from a character. Without further ado, I will break into these. Issue 9, Lady Thor transported to an alien planet or possible dimension where she meets this race of people. And she gets to meet one of them called Hecla, who saves her from this gunk. And we find out that his wife and son had died when this creature named Yod took over the planet. And Yod is what everybody worships with his sages. And as Lady Thor is telling him that she's a god, he's being very skeptical. He starts to believe her. And I wouldn't say believing her just yet, but realizing she may actually be able to defeat Yod. They go on a quest for this device that these people built when Yod first showed up, and you learn that Yod was much like her. He showed up on the planet and couldn't get teleported away. They fought some monsters, and then they find out that Yod is actually the bringer of the lightning, which Lady Thor yelled back, "I'm the god of thunder." So they have this fight. She catches a lightning bolt, which is pretty cool. And it kind of looks like the classic, like a Zeus lightning bolt. And it doesn't look like rippling energy, just the sharp pointed lightning bolt. Well, anyways, God dies, and with the gun, with one thing of energy left, she shoots him with it to take him to wherever he wants to be, which is home. Which takes him with his family, because they are dead, because he was going to die. So I thought that was a really cool ending. And basically, she takes Yod's power and forges it with the hammer, and she just sits and waits. What is crazy is Yod is actually one of these people, and he has this power source, which is lightning. So it's kind of crazy. Like I said, it really has nothing to do with anything going on in Secret Empire. Just kind of let you know where Lady Thor was during all this. Issue 10, we get the Avengers, the Hydra Avengers, which is Doc Ock, Deadpool, Thor, Odinson, if that's what you prefer to call him at this time, Taskmaster, Black Ant, Scarlet Witch, and Vision. And it's funny because Doc Ock is referencing the number 6 due to him being in the Sinister Six, and 7 is kind of an inconvenience, and the 7th person is Deadpool. They're going on to look at these installations that keep the barrier around the planet powered up, because they keep getting destroyed, and they find these creatures that kind of look like a Schumacher Wrath. And it's pretty cool as Taskmaster and Black Ant come across one. He's going to do the explode from inside, get real small, explode out, and he realizes he can't do it. Taskmaster chops it up. And as the other Avengers start fighting these things, because they've split up, one of them telepathically tells Taskmaster they mean him no harm. They're trapped on the planet. They wish to grant them powers to do good if they'll help them escape. And Taskmaster lies about it, says they're here to eradicate all of humanity, and they kill all of them. We get to see that how Odinson is very torn about this, and he only is with Cap's side because he trusts his Cap. And Black Ant loses a Pym particle because basically he's O'Grady Ant-Man. and he's not realizing it, and we see that Doc Ock has it. And so that's just to kind of further along some Doc Ock storyline, who had come back during the Amazing Spider-Man Secret Empire, End of an Empire storyline, which I reviewed if you want to check that out. I mean, that's got me pretty interested because he's talked about how Taskmaster can be a threat to him and the new powers he's got since he's gained Spider-Man's powers with a cloning process. So maybe we'll get to see him and Taskmaster and Black Ant clash later on, which I'm kind of hoping for because I've always really liked Taskmaster as a character. Issue 11 is the aftermath where the Avengers have come back together. You get no clue about how Lady Thor come back. So you'll have to find out where that happened in another book. At this time, I do not know, and I can promise you that I will not search out how she got back. Because this whole storyline is so spread out. Like I said, none of this literally has anything to do with Secret Empire. Much kind of like, the Amazing Spider-Man tie-in did. It had nothing to do with anything. You're really going to have to spend your money on side stories and one-shots to get the whole feel of exactly what's going on during Secret Empire. But this has some really good stuff. The Avengers are mad because Parker Industries was sold and destroyed due to Doc Ock in the Spider-Man storyline. And they're bashing Peter Parker because they've lost all their stuff because Avengers headquarters was on top of it. And not knowing what to do, Spider-Man kind of gets on it, bashing Parker, and says that he's very out of the reach of Hercules because he's very afraid of apparently getting hit by Hercules. And then they all split off in the twos. Sam and Thor talk about her leading the Avengers because he wants to be done being Cap. And they kind of have a love interest at this time. And she is actually kind of mad at him for doing this and telling him, because he's kind of relieved of not being Cap and he's tired of being in that spotlight. She tries to tell him, it's not the suit that makes the man, it's the man that makes the suit. And that he should have more faith in himself. Spidey and Wasp, they kind of talk about how they're complete opposites, but they both make a bigger deal of what something really is as they kind of rustle up some animals. It's kind of pointless. The best part of the book is Vision and Hercules split off because they want to be away from everybody. But yet they go to a bar, I would guess it's a very preppy bar, I should say, and where everybody's like taking photos and selfies with them. And Vision is questioning Herc about being immortal because he's realized that he will live forever. And Hercules has basically lived forever here in the Marvel continuity. And and he's very worried about being lonely. And Herc tells him, at first he was because he would be with a lover. By the time he turned around, she would be dead and their grandchildren would be grown. Or, he would have a fighting comrade. And before you know it, that comrade would just die of old age. And he has learned to live in the moment and make memories with your friends because memories can be as immortal as you. They have a really good conversation over some beers, and it's a really good story. And honestly, that would be the one book out of these three I would recommend reading if you do anything, because that is something I would imagine the Vision probably has thought about since his creation, and something he's always wanted to ask. And I think Herc was the better person to ask instead of someone like Thor, because Herc literally has lived all of his life here on Earth. So, and it is the best part of these three-part stories. But like I said, you could skip 9 and 10. You can read 11. And just read the Herc's Vision part. You could skip the rest of this if you read it in a trade paperback. Like I said, none of this fits the Secret Empire storyline. None of it connects to anything. It's just all a bunch of hodgepodge. Not bad hodgepodge, but just hodgepodge. You can skip it for the Secret Empire stuff. But I'm JVD for The Villain's Man. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter. Hopefully you subscribe to our YouTube channel where you're watching this right now. You can like this. Don't feel bad about not liking the Secret Empire review, just the plain one. But please like this one. Keep reading, guys.